Alright, this is the Brothers Herman here from beautiful Walt Disney World in Florida. And because we're in such an auspicious location, I figured it's the perfect place to review a Nicktoon.
No, not happening. No.
Oh, come on, guys.
I believe you're wearing my hat.
For those of you that know Nickelodeon as a media juggernaut that differs from its big brother MTV only in its target demographic and color of slime, you may be surprised to know that it started out as a low-budget cable network that aired cheap and often Canadian children's television. It really wasn't until the 90s that it started focusing on producing its own shows. Chief among those were the Nicktoons, completely original cartoons that were billed as being unlike anything else on TV. Were they? Well, Ren and Stimpy grew so violent and disturbing that Nick had to dump its producer, and he later reimagined it as an R-rated show on late-night MTV. Doug tried to teach people that putting a belt around your head and acting crazy would make the cool kids like you, and was so sappy and understanding that Disney snapped up the rights to it. Of the three, only Rugrats had the kind of fame that could be measured by something other than the tortured souls of people named Doug. And even that, only after half a decade in syndication limbo. And so everything was riding on the success of the fourth show. What they needed was a smash hit that would resonate with kids. What they got was an absurdist story about being a single adult by a guy who, by his own admission, didn't write for kids and didn't like television cartoons.
Well, it was clear. I mean, except for stuff.
It might help at this point to explain where Nick was coming from. Well, Nickelodeon was a children's network, and the Nicktoons were advertised as being for kids. The real target demographic was teens, college students, and young parents. The entire endeavor was an underhanded attempt to subvert the core idea behind the channel and attract some people with actual money. Which was a brilliant idea as far as I'm concerned, because A, it's a tacit admission that cartoons aren't just for kids, and B, kids want to be treated like adults anyways. So when producer Joe Murray said he wasn't going to make a kids show, Nickelodeon said, not a problem. And it wasn't, because the show we got out of it was Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's Modern Life was a sitcom about adult life amplified to extreme proportions and seen through a lens of absurdity.
Garbage Day is a very dangerous day.
It treated small events as epic conflicts, which, ironically, we can all relate to, because we can all remember how overwhelming they were when we first had to tackle them ourselves.
Laundry Day is a very dangerous day.
And even more ironically, kids can relate to, because the situations in the show were so absurd that they could just as easily represent pieces of high school or middle school life. A presentation is just as daunting, after all, whether it's to become a dentist or simply your first time in front of an audience.
Yuck! Open mic night is a very dangerous night.
Thus, the various episodes managed to bring to life recognizable yet mature situations, such as meeting the family, going to the fair, and being roommates. And sometimes very mature situations.
Touch them! Yes, oh my. Very soft and veiny. Oh, you always know exactly what to say.
Yeah. Despite being a more palatable show than Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life was no stranger to controversy. That particular clip is better in context, but even so, the episode only aired once. Aside from that, though, the show was safe.
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. Rocko.
mostly safe.
Sorry, we full up. Won't have room for another 20 minutes. Oh, we have premature departure.
Okay, fine, whatever. It pushed the line. But it didn't just push the line with its humor, it also pushed the line with its educational messages, giving us such gems as, you can't win against the government, being the boss will make you an asshole, don't be embarrassed because no one cares, and of course, education is bad for your brain. Rocko constantly challenged our simplistic views of the world, cynically knocking down what we hoped it was, but also, inspiringly, waving away what we feared it was. This is the show that brought us one of the most endearing relationships in a cartoon. A dweeb and a one-handed woman with a hook are about as far from Hollywood's idea of beauty as you can get outside of 2 a.m. Walmart runs. But Filbert and Dr. Hutchinson seem to genuinely care for each other, and neither one feels that they are settling. And that, to me, is a better lesson for kids than any crappy PSA you can shove into a commercial slot. Murray once said that he got the inspiration for Rocko after seeing this wallaby at the zoo, this lone, unconcerned figure in a sea of craziness around him. And I really get the impression that that simple inspiration is the anchor point for this show. Certainly, 9 times out of 10, Rocko fulfills the role of the level-headed everyman, while everyone else gets crazier and crazier the further disconnected they are from him. Well, unless you need someone to scream like a howler monkey, then all bets are off. Special credit needs to be given to the animation team this time. They deliberately eschewed parallel lines to add to the recognizable yet absurd and skewed feel of the show. Additionally, the sight gags in the script were written completely independently, with the scriptwriters leaving blank spaces for the animators to fill in with whatever they felt like. And that was typical for the show. The zaniness and freedom in it really seemed to reflect the zaniness and freedom in its creation. Formulaic ideas were shot down on sight to make way for the untried and untested. Childishness was almost actively encouraged, both on screen and off. And apparently, many of the creative team described their time on the show as the most fun they've ever had in their entire life. And I can't help but think that it shows in the final product. Rocko's Modern Life lasted for 4 years, with Murray firmly at the helm for 3 of them. When he finally decided to leave for good after the 4th season, Nickelodeon decided that they wouldn't continue without him. That said, Rocko's legacy exists even to this day, as many of the creative team went off onto other famous projects like Phineas and Ferb, Camp Lazlo, and, of course, SpongeBob SquarePants. It's ironic that this is the show that really solidified the existence of the Nicktoon, both in its success and in this being the first show that Nickelodeon had an actual hand in making. That it was a success ensures that there are Nicktoons to this day, and yet there's never really been anything like it again. Oh sure, there are some Nicktoons that approach the craziness, or the adult situations, but rarely both at once, and even then, never with the devil-may-care attitude of Rocko's Modern Life. Then again, there was that one other time when Nickelodeon contacted a guy who didn't write for kids, who constantly pushed the boundaries, and who made a show beloved by children and adults alike. That one didn't end well.
I'm so happy all the time. It's great.
I'm Ramnesses, and this has been another Wasted Years cartoon review. Join me next time as we find out that your parents were lying to you when they said vegetables were good for you, but they were telling you the truth when they told you that your shows sucked. I'll see you then.